Hiya, Dr. Allison JK here, excited to get to you in this time right now. So woo, so excited I kicked the table, this camera's on. You may hear some little bits of rain, as well as the crows coming in as we're in our rainy season, and a really cleansing rain shower just completes. Which is kind of like what's happening right now with all the planets. We've had 6 planets in retrograde around this new moon that happened. What are we in right now? Saturday. The new moon was Thursday night. And so there were 6 planets in retrograde, and Venus has, in particular, my ruling planet is a Libra. As we come into my season now, I'm a fall equinox baby in the northern hemisphere. There is the effect that you'll be feeling of maybe wanting to review. You may also feel like things are a little bit more stagnant than your ego mind, as we call it in meditation, the parts of our mind that are connected to our personality level, surface level self. The ego mind may be getting impatient and concluding that things are stalled or stagnant. And it's very much because of the retrograde energy. And so we have the equinox coming in on the 22nd in this coming week. Excuse me, my birthday falls a couple of days after that. So I just want to remind you that whilst I'm not a professional astrologer, what's happened is around 2011, when I had my 2.5-year weekly radio show with Voice America that they asked me to do on the Mayan galactic alignment, which I hadn't been doing anything on in my business other than privately taking private VIP clients on VIP retreats to the Mayan ruins. There's no way they could have known that. Anyway, I did that radio show, and around that time I started to stand under the night sky and start to ask for guidance as I was stepping into more of a leadership role to help guide through these incredible times of 2012 to 2032. Why I am telling you this is because I'm not a professional astrologer. I tune into the energies of the cosmos, and what's been wicked cool is to see the energies that I've been perceiving through the years now for well over a decade doing this, match what, when I then go do the astrological research, is behind the various aspects astrologically with the influences. So while you receive videos from me, words from me, I'm actually, because I have so much of the continuing, consistent, constant behavior of activating and clearing my clients. The words move energy when I speak. So you're receiving a transmission, a bit like a yoga guru, although I am absolutely not claiming that for myself. A bit like Shakti put in the yogic world. So please just sit back and receive, because there's stuff that might be happening even while I'm not doing a formal clearing and activation in the vibration upgrade system style that many of you are used to hearing me do. You're still receiving energy clearings and transmissions that are going beyond your intellectual mind and or your ego mind. And I really want to, that's what wanted to really be focused on today, is it's this constant message of, as smart as you may be and think you are, and take pride in being, like myself with a PhD, all the education I've gotten, doing the energy medicine and holistic health and wellness sessions and having great success at them as my side gig, alongside the classroom teaching career and administration career, moving over to Asia for a decade to increase my cash flow, as well as to get even more robust results for my clients. And whilst I've been a total geek in learning that the subtle energy system in our consciousness is a science to it, right? I'm working that science, and almost all of it goes beyond your conscious mind, the thoughts that you can hear. So the ways to access the help and the support of the cosmos is to yield more to the mystery, to what you don't know, because that is how we access the new, right? So we're moving into new times. The equinox is going to be a complete reset globally after this retrograde season. So this retrograde season, go ahead right now, like this week, and take the time to review, yeah? Take the time to tune into asking, however you communicate it, your guidance, the universe, your higher self, to show you more clearly what you have healed, what you have moved beyond, what it's time to let go of, and what you're moving into. So now you may, if you have the proper energetics and consciousness, you may get some clarity. And here's for you to have more of that clarity coming in. Because on then, therefore, the equinox, we have a huge global reset, like I said. And on the 29th, our full moon of September, Venus again goes into retrograde in the strongest way after she's already done so 3 times this year. So you may have been seeing relationships end, whether romantic or other ones. You may be allowing some to complete. You'll want to let go too very much right now in the sense of pushing and forcing and making happen. Again, with that retrograde energy I've just talked about, but also allowing for that higher self and divine will to come in and sustain and support and guide you more. Now, I have tons of processes, clearings, activations that I do in people's subtle energy system and consciousness to allow for more of that yielding and more of that surrender. So I don't tend to give advice or suggestions without the energy medicine clearings and activations. You could go into Activate Your Magic, my first tier program, to receive this support. It's the lowest priced way to work with me on a monthly basis. And this Wednesday, the day before the equinox, we have our first live Zoom event, our 1 monthly Zoom event for the first time this Wednesday coming up. So I'll put the link below if you want to join that. I just wanted to remind you that I guide my vibrational upgrade practitioners in their training. Their Bible in their training manual is don't ever give advice. And so I'm extremely aware of not enjoying and being out of my comfort zone of giving advice and making suggestions without the requisite energy medicine to help you have the shifts to make it more accessible, whatever it is that I'm saying. What I'd like to also guide you to understand too for your highest and best is that as October comes in, we're moving into eclipse season. And eclipses end, they eclipse things. And there has been so much historical, incredible events around eclipses. You know, it's really cool. I'll never forget learning about John Dee, Queen Elizabeth I's astrologer, and how much queens and kings and royalty worldwide have historically consulted with astrologers before making big choices and even smaller choices, right? So what I am overall communicating to you, the undercurrent here is as much as you possibly can now to yield to understanding that there is a higher will supporting us all, nurturing us all, wanting the best for us, and moving us forward in this 2012 to 2032 time of our greatest evolutionary leap ever for humanity's spiritual awakening times, as we're in the second half of the creation mode. So we've just gone through this retrograde where we've been given a pause in the beginning of September after all the light dumped in on us in August with the most potent Lionsgate event ever, since I've been tuning into Lionsgates on the 8th of August. This is what I'm talking about. Like the universe is there naturally supporting us to evolve. Like the plants, like the flowers, they all grow up, right? They grow. We're meant to be doing the same thing, and we've been given the help to do that. So after all that light and shakeup occurred in August, where a lot of you felt like, oh my God, the summer is so whack, this is such crazy energy, holy cow, this is intense, or some of your own variation of that, this first half of September, we've been given that kind of energy with 6 of the planets in retrograding and a calming kind of pause energy. And then on the equinox, it's a global reset on Thursday, the 22nd of September. Whether you're in the north for a fall equinox or the southern hemisphere for the spring equinox, it's a global reset with the full moon and Venus in retrograde as we move into eclipse season of October. So one of the other things that's really sticking out to me is I've been talking about this, and I'm not the only voice talking about this for sure, is particularly, let me give a little story here. I remember in Taiwan when I would be on my scooter driving home from the gym and stopping at a blue truck for my tofu and veggies before I discovered this brilliant Buddhist vegetarian cafe. I would stop at these blue trucks that served food. They'd open up their side gate, and in the truck itself would be all these baskets full of all like this great green cabbage and broccoli and tofu, and for meat eaters there was stuff there too, all these great choices. And with tongs I could put them in my own basket, and then they would steam them for me, and I'd go home with my plastic bag full of my dinner. And I remember thinking, oh my God, of course, coming from, I had already traveled a lot and lived overseas enough to not have the FDA American-induced fear of, oh my God, is this hygienic? How long has this tofu been sitting out? Recognizing that that's so easy, that's so simple. Having a truck, a business, you don't need a license, you don't need to have like hygienic inspections. You can just set a business on the side of the main road in the village or in the town. I was living in a city an hour south of the capital. So then I came back here, and within a couple of years, food trucks started to take off. I know we make things more complicated, particularly in America, and I know it's intense in the United States of America right now. But please understand that there is a rebalancing that's happening, and the equinox itself is the balance between night and day. It's the 2 points of the year when it's equal balance between night and day. So wherever you can pray for more balance in your life, as well as for all the collective on the day of the equinox, that would be really great. And then what I'm getting at with this story about America is the idea of that drain that we get, as a business owner, or as a CEO, or as a busy mom, or a busy dad with a job to hold down, and raising good people, and all that, the paperwork, to be a responsible citizen. And this is the only country I know, it's the same in the UK in its own way. But the balance that's coming in now with what I am perceiving for the equinox is more of a balance between the accomplishments, for the success, and the self-care, and that they come into an equal balance. And I know I'm going to be focusing on that in particular on this Wednesday's Zoom event for Activate Your Magic, my first tier program that keeps you receiving clearings and activations in alignment with the lunations, full and new moons, and a monthly Zoom event. And so I welcome you all to come in. The link is below. And I welcome you to, I'm going to remind you to yield more to a higher knowing. Our ego minds can only see what's right in front of us. They are inherently oriented towards what's in it for me, to be self-absorbed. It's easier to be depressed when you don't work with your ego mind at all, because it is so inherently self-absorbed. But it can only see what's in front of us. Whereas if I'm using logic on you now, yes, you yield to the higher forces, and then I do what I do in your consciousness and subtle energy that I've learned to be able to arrange it so that you have what I call whole brain consciousness. And in the yogic path, it's understood there's like layers. We have our observer self, we have our higher self, then there's chakras even higher than the crown chakra, to help allow in more of your own conscious awareness and self-management, self-mastery, to allow in the guiding, loving forces so that you muck up your life less and you have more success more easily, ultimately. And that's what we're going for. I'm not even going to address all the polarity, the division, and all of that, because that is all old stuff that just needs to be cleared. Fever peaking before it breaks and we go into this golden new era. But we're doing it every day with our choices. So this is a really brilliant time to be alive on the planet, and I wonder what ways and what choices you can make today that help you celebrate that in this gift of being in a body on planet Earth right now. Namaste. Cheers.